Today we are going to start geometry. So today's lesson is just the foundation, the building blocks of geometry. I want to give you a little bit of vocabulary, things that we are going to be using from now through the end of this unit. The first vocabulary term is called a point, and it's represented by just a dot, okay? And this dot, it is just one point, one place in all of space, and it's very, very small. Very, very small. You almost can't see it, okay? So we always designate a point with a capital letter, not a lowercase, but capital. And we just say, this is point P, or we can say, this is point M, or this is point B. Any capital letter, we can name a point. Okay, so now, what if we have many points strung together? We have what's called a line. Okay, a line is a straight path, and it goes infinitely far in both directions. Okay, it never stops, never stops. Now, we can't draw a true line. We can't draw a line that never stops. So we represent it by a long line with two arrowheads on both sides. That means it's going off into both directions. And normally we name them with 2 points on a line. So say we pick 2 points. One's called A, one's called B. And okay, they could be, G and Q. They could be M and Z, things like that. So we now name our line AB. And what we do is we name the points and we put the line symbol above it with 2 arrowheads. Now we can name our lines in the reverse order. It is also called line BA. So we know that in a line there are infinite number of points. What if we had another point in there, point C? We could also name this line AC or CA, line CA. We always have to put that line symbol above it. We could also name it line BC or line CB. There are many ways we can name it. But whenever we see this, say we're given line PQ, okay? Line PQ, we have a line symbol. We could draw that. It would be a straight line with 2 arrows, and we would just label a P and a Q. That's how we label it. Okay. Now, what if we had just a small portion of a line that it actually has 2 endpoints? We call that a line segment, and we have 2 points on each end, okay? So say this point is X and this one is Y. They're always capital letters, remember. So line XY, or I should say, I'm sorry, line segment XY, or just segment XY, we label our points, X, Y, and we just put the bar over the top. That's the line segment. And now we could also label it line segment YX. We can reverse it. It doesn't matter. It refers to the same set of points. It's the 2 endpoints and every point in between. There's still infinitely many of them. So look at the difference between a line segment and a line. Okay? Then we have what's called a ray. Now, a ray starts at a point and goes infinitely far in one direction. You could kind of think it's like a half of a line, kind of, sort of. Okay. So we label it, so whatever our endpoint is, and then we pick another point. So I'm going to label the endpoint J and then another point K. Here's how we label a ray. We say JK, and we have the ray symbol. It is just a line. It looks like a line segment with an arrow, 1 arrow. So here's what you have to be very careful of. Where the point is, where your endpoint is of your ray, that's where the endpoint is when we label it. Okay? So JK, we cannot label this ray KJ, because what this says is that the endpoint's at K and it goes infinitely far in the other direction. So that is not correct. But what we could also do is put another point on there. What if we had the point L? We could name this ray also ray JL. The endpoint is still J, but we're just labeling another point. And since all the points are on this ray, we could label whatever. What if we had the point Q right here? We could label this ray JQ. Lots of different ways. Okay? And then finally, we have what's called a plane. Not like an airplane, but a plane. A plane is a lot like a piece of paper. Okay? It's flat. It has no thickness. Okay? And it's hard to physically understand a plane. It goes infinitely far in every direction, in 2 dimensions here, both length and width. It's really hard to draw a picture of. So when we see a plane, you might see it looking like this, kind of like a quadrilateral or a parallelogram. We'll get to those terms in future lessons. And it might have arrows showing that it's going out in all directions. Okay? The way we label a plane is we pick 3 points. Okay? I'm going to pick 3 points in this plane, L, M, and N. Okay? So the way we're going to label that is plane L, M, N. So if you ever were asked, can you name a plane? You could say LMN. You can also say MLN. You could say NML. You can say LNM. There are different ways you can label them any way you want. If there's another point in there, say point P, you could pick any 3 points. Okay? The reason you have to pick 3, so if you had a line, 2 points make a line. So say you picked P, like say we had P, Q, and R. We could not really say that it's P, Q, R because they're all on the same line. We have to pick 3 points that are not on the same line. So we could say it's plane P, Q, L or R, P, M. There are so many ways that we could label this plane. So we are picking 3 points from this plane that are not in the same line, and that's how we are naming our plane. So that is the basics of geometry. We're going to be using these terms for the entire unit and beyond.